they're gonna put that there too.
Okay? It's 1:15, bring the meeting to order, please. Join us with salute to the flag. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Rick Morgan here, Frank Riley's here, Bob Freeman. Here. We have a number of minutes to approve, mainly because we haven't had 3 people here for the last 3 weeks, I guess. First I have is the Selectmen's Finance meeting, Department Head meeting of November the 7th. On that particular meeting, the only ones present was Selectmen Freeman and Morgan. If I could get one to make a motion.
Make a motion to accept it.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, you can sign that one. The next one I have is Selectmen's meeting on November the 7th, of which the same 2 selectmen were present. If I could get one to make a motion on those.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And that's this one. That takes care of that one. November the 14th. That particular meeting, Mr. Morgan was absent, so I'll make a motion that we approve these minutes.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
There's the workshop, and these are the selectmen's minutes on the same day of November the 14th. The only 2 selectmen present was Mr. Freeman, and myself. Make a motion to approve them.
And I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. And then when I get to last week's minutes, which was November the 21st, myself and Mr. Morgan were present. Mr. Freeman was absent, so I'll make a motion we approve them.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We all had a chance here to be out, I guess. And then on the selectmen's minutes themselves, it's the same thing. Mr. Freeman was absent. Make a motion, we approve them.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that brings us to 1 minute. Excuse me. I have here the,
I should point out that our absence was for illness, though.
yeah, well, I understand that.
Just pointing that out.
You want to point it out?
Yeah.
But he did get one, so that does count for something.
That's true, but he get it with his truck.
I have the Town of Ossipee check vouchers total payroll week ending 11/26. Wages was $38,400.16. Taxes were $12,918.33 for a total of $51,318.49. And I have the accounts payable week ending 11/19/2016, $104,184. Make a motion, we approve them.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
These are where they are because these do contain the second half of the outside agencies that were approved at town meeting. Bob, I think I got them all. If you double check for me, I'd appreciate it. This is just information. It's a tax warrant. I'll just read it. We already signed it. Tax bills are already out. Most people probably already have them. This says Kelly J. Skian, Collector of Taxes for Ossipee, New Hampshire, and said county, Carroll County, and said, in the name of the state, you are hereby directed to collect the property taxes and list herein committed to you amounting to the sum of $7,049,718.42, and with interest of 12% per annum annually from December 27th, 2016, thereafter, on all sums not paid or before that date. And that's strictly information. I think everybody's got their tax bills. I certainly have mine. I have here the The highway department work log. I don't know, Brad, winter came early, didn't it? As people know, and guys do a good job, greatly appreciate it. The roads are out there. One storm was really weird and different, because one piece of town got 3 inches and the rest of town got nothing. So, you know, it's hard to tell where we live here and how the weather rains and, you know, snows and how it changes. A request here from Public Works Director Brad Harriman for tree removal on Granite Road. Says I've received 3 bids to remove 28 dead trees on Granite Road, 1 by crane. And he's got it from English Arboriculture, is that how you pronounce it?
Arboriculture.
Arboriculture, Eldridge Logging, and TLL Tree Service. It says 2 of the 3 bidders recommended using a crane service to remove 1 of the 3 trees, with 1 of them not bidding that part. The other, GLL Tree Services, bid using a block and tackle method. Our observation of the tree in question strongly believes the crane service is far safer method to use, therefore I recommend awarding the contract to English Arboriculture. And the difference is you're gonna make me add numbers together, I guess.
It's $120 difference.
English Arboriculture is $5,820 maybe?
Yes.
And that takes in both trees. Eldridge Logging did not bid on the 1 required removed by a crane. He only bid on the 28 trees. He was $4,480. I guess I would break this down differently. English was $3,920 for the 28 trees, $1,900 for the 1 by crane. Eldridge Logging was $4,480. That was for the 28 trees and no bid for the crane. TLL Tree Service was $4,200 for the 28 trees, and he wanted $1,500, but he was going to take that 1 tree down by block and tackle, which you consider not safe. Therefore, it's your opinion that we award the bid to English. This is something you're not charging right out to do. It's something you intend to do, I assume, over the winter, or?
They'll probably start this fall and work in whatever schedule they want to work on.
So, based on the recommendation of the Public Works Director, I make a recommendation, we get English Arboriculture, I'm not gonna say this right, no matter how I say it, to do it for $3,920 for the 28 trees and $1,900 for the crane service and the 1 tree.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Hopefully I explained that okay. I have here a notice of intent to cut wood and timber. It's map 260, lot 17, map 265, lot 20, 21, and 22 on Granite Road. Cut of approximately 130 acres, and they're gonna cut 120 acres of it. It's, Linham, James and Brenda Linham. The cutter is Western Maine Timberland Incorporated. Taxes are paid, no cemeteries. Make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. I have another intent to cut. This one is tax map. Is that me or you? Doesn't matter. 272, lot 022, Stoneview in Ossipee. Anthony Jakes is the owner. Brandon R. Valley is the timber cutter. No taxes have been paid, no cemeteries. I make a motion, we approve this.
Second it.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Excuse me. They have another notice of intent to cut wood and timber. This is actually a supplemental notice to one that's already been filed. It's tax map 23, lot 6, 24, lot 15, 24, tax map 2418, 2805, 2806, 2901, 2902, and 2907. It is a supplement This is to North Gate of Ossipee, which is the expansion of Westwood Shores. We've already given them the intent to cut, and this is a supplement for more that they hadn't planned on. Make a motion, we approve it.
Second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. This is a wetlands permit by notification. It's for work on the lake, maintenance of a non-docking structure, maintenance, repair, or replacement of a non-docking structure. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna replace the existing stairs down to the water. This is at 52 Ridge Road, tax map 35, lot 11, and it's approved to be done. Authorizing agent is Mark McConkey Construction, Freedom. And this is really more information to us because this is one that gets signed by the tax collector. That's happening. If we ever get an answer, we're kind of running way past the due date on this school board thing. Nope. Lakes Region Humane Society, each year we enter into a contract for dogs. They take care of stray dogs and dogs that are picked up by our dog officer. And we enter into a contract each year. This one came through again this year with cats, which we don't enter into. I know you crossed them up. Do we want to go back for a cleaned up copy?
I think so.
I think we probably ought to.
And we spent quite a bit of time on that contract a year ago.
Yes,
So
we
we'll
did.
make sure that this reconciles with the contract that we redid last year.
So we're gonna table this tonight, send it back and let you work with the Humane Society to get it squared away, okay? Thank you. Last but not least, this is from Kyle Baker, who is legislative aide to Senator Jeb Bradley. Again, it's a thank you again for getting together a group of individuals from the town to attend this meeting with Senator Bradley on December the 6th. Just wanted to forward you the list of confirmed attendees at this time.
I'm hoping that, Bob, is there a chance you can go to that instead of me on the 6th? I've got a conflict
What's the sense?
on the 6th.
What is it?
Next Tuesday, maybe?
Next Tuesday
I'm
at
in
9
Boston,
o'clock.
I can't go, so.
At 9 o'clock is at the State House. The second
I could ride down with Joey.
Joey's going down.
Jody
Shane.
Shane.
Let me see what I can't do. Let me find out what's going on together.
Anyway, we have state reps that are attending. Ed Comeau, Mr. Nelson, Mr. McConkey, Elect Marsh, and Albolino. And from the town, we did have Mr. Morgan, who has got a conflict. We're gonna see if Mr. Freeman can go. I have a conflict. Lieutenant Joe Duchesne from PD will be going, and Chief Adam Riley of the Ossipee County Fire Department. So we will have people in attendance. Old business, intersection 17128, we just discussed the meeting that is going to take place on 12/6. Educational fund, we don't have an answer on. Hazardous dilapidated buildings, still waiting for court date.
Correct.
Paperwork is all filed. That's in reference to the two buildings on Ossipee Lake, one of which is basically falling into the lake. We've taken all the legal actions. The attorney has taken and filed it with the court. We now need the court to give us authorization to go forward and make them remove it or remove it ourselves. George Connor Road we're working on. That, again, the attorney has filed with the court.
Correct.
That's in the court right now, waiting for a hearing date. That references to the dilapidated mobile home that's up there that we're trying to deal with. Water sewer budget. Bo. Looks like they sent you by yourself tonight. You handed us these papers. We're struggling hard with this because we don't know what your expenditures are, and we know you're struggling hard with this because you knew it, okay? So we're both struggling, trying to figure out where we're going with it, but, I don't know.
I think we ought to request from the Water and Sewer Commission the expenditures for each one of these accounts,
Each line item.
each line. How else can you make a informed decision about whether or not it's the correct amount?
Do you have that? Somebody must have what your expenditure is by these line items.
I do. I can redo it. Yeah, okay.
So we'll put this on hold again.
Yeah,
If you need to chat with Ellen on just exactly what we're looking for, don't hesitate.
yeah, I will. I've got a pretty good idea.
What happens is we're trying to put a budget together that works for everybody, but if we don't know what's been spent,
Well, the other thing is they use a very, very confusing, if you look at the way the town budgets are set up versus this,
Yeah, theirs is pretty easy, but it doesn't, you don't look at the town budgets and you don't break it down quite as much as what we do.
it, yeah, it's very confusing.
okay?
Yeah, I'll get it to
Do
her.
your best you can for us so we
Yeah,
can try
I
to.
know.
We will get through this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, the only part I'm not sure of, I put down for salaries and overtime. This is the best of my knowledge, because I
Correct.
don't know exactly what you guys are up to,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
That's perfectly fine. You
Okay.
do the best you can. Overtime's a guess anyway, in most cases.
yeah,
You try to figure out just exactly where you can go and how much you're gonna spend, and you don't ever know.
right,
You know.
okay.
The big difference is both, and I mentioned this to them earlier upstairs, the difference is going to be that what we're looking to have is your actual operating budget. The projects that you need to do.
Yeah.
Now, this first year is gonna be a little funky, and I get that, because we're going into this a little blind. But from here on out, the projects you wanna do will be completely separate from that.
It'd be like a warrant.
The same way Brad's
Yeah.
highway budget
Yeah.
is just his operating budget. And it makes it a whole lot simpler. Then if you have a project, you bring that, people get a chance to be told about it, hear what it is, and do it that way.
Right, that's basically.
We're gonna have the two capital reserve funds,
Mhm.
for lack of a better term, and it's, I don't know how they set them up over there, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. But those are sitting there so that money can be taken out of those to do certain projects.
Right, that's
But
what
we
it's
do
there for.
need to have an answer before January, from DRA, as to whether or not that's something that we need to clean up on the warrant. Because I would presume right now that the commissioners are agents to expend on those.
Should be. No? They are.
They are. And it's not the right RSAs. Doug picked one, Ski picked another one.
Okay?
Kind of figured that.
So,
Time over it and
You've
sit
got to go
down.
back. Either ask second new ones, you know, exactly what you want, and then pass it. Because technically, the ones that were set up previously were voted on by the commissioners, and they are not the legislative body. And that's what that's what the RSA says. The legislative body, which is town meeting.
well, that's what I would have expected.
Yeah, but there was never,
So they were never set as agents to expend by a vote of town meeting.
that's why I say yes on one hand, no on another.
Say
We
yes.
we definitely need to research
We
that
do,
before the warrant articles finalized. And maybe involve Rick.
We have to have something in there particularly to address it, so we can. We need that.
Because otherwise, you may have been a whole year
Well,
without, having that money sitting there without being able to spend it.
Spend anything,
So-
right?
But the way I understood it, the legislative body was town meeting,
It is the legislative body.
Yeah.
We're the governing body.
correct? But
But see, I would have thought that the same way that we routinely now, when we set up a capital reserve fund, we ask that the selectmen be designated as agents to expend. I would have thought when those accounts were set up, then they would have designated the commissioners as agents to expend.
Hoyle and Tanner set them up.
Okay.
And when Hoyle and Tanner was kicked out,
No, it was Woodard and Curran.
what did it turn? What did it turn? They set those up. Then when Randy and those guys took over, gone around with DRA on which ones. You can ask Ellen. And DRA says, oh, that was all right. Well, in my book, it wasn't.
It's all right with the DRA, but not with the Attorney General's office.
Something else that needs to be addressed, and needs to be cleaned up as soon as we can after January 1, because if it does need, if we do need to put something on the warrant to clean it up, then we need to do it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking almost 300,000.
Well, okay. Anything else under that particular budget at this point in time?
Nope, other than, would it be worthwhile, if he can get those figures, would it be worthwhile to sit down with Bo in the workshop next Monday and go over those numbers and answer those questions?
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to do that. That way you guys can understand a little bit more where I'm coming from.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Any reason we can't do that?
No.
2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
I don't know,
That's
Saturday.
fine.
That's fine.
I'm okay on anytime on Monday.
Okay. Yeah, 2 o'clock, fine. My only concern would be this, he was scheduled to meet with the budget committee this week.
Yeah, we'll just have to postpone, that's
Okay.
all.
We'll have him address it when they do the revenues and warrant article
Right.
review. Okay,
We can do the other ones this week, but the only one we can't do is water sewer.
correct.
That's on Wednesday night,
That is correct.
6:30, Freight House. All right,
It'd be a lot easier, sit down and talk with you and figure out where we're,
Yeah.
where we headed?
Yeah.
Brad, you probably ought to be in on that conversation too, okay?
So
Are
this
they,
is
are they gonna have the commissioner meeting on the 5th? It'll be the first of,
Yeah, they're
but that's not until what, 3:30?
3:30.
Okay, so, yeah, we should be done by 2 then.
But so assuming you're looking for is his expenditure report is up to date, so you can kind of look at these line items and see where he's at spending each of those items that are in the budget there. now,
yes,
so you know
because
where
as of,
we're
for
at.
instance, last year, there was $80,000 left over.
Right.
Now, there's not really much of a way to slice that unless you didn't do a bunch of projects that you had budgeted for. But otherwise, that's a pretty significant amount of money to have left over at the end of the year. If we don't need it, and this is the other thing, Brad, that I would hopefully work with him, is to make sure that this is in fact operational.
Right.
And if there are projects that we want to do in 2017, that we get that information out so we can do that on the warrant article.
Right.
There is.
Yep.
But make sure that, that's not included in here.
Right, yep.
Listen, there's a learning curve. I mean, we'll get it.
We'll get it.
And if you can get a hold of the 15 expenditures, that would give us a full overview of an entire year that we can compare off of as well.
Yeah, I should have all that. I should have all that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any other old business, Bob?
I don't have.
Rick?
Uh,
Old business?
no.
New business, we talked about the Lakes Region Humane Society shelter agreement. Any other new business?
The only thing I want to mention tonight, I think it was Small Business Saturday was last Saturday. I wish we had thought to mention that, but I do think that it would be worthwhile for us as a board to certainly encourage our residents to shop local, shop small as much as we can. These are our neighbors, they're our, they're fellow taxpayers, they pay more of a tax than the residents does, and we ought to keep as much money local as we can, and that's on all of us, not just the town, but as residents as well. There are a lot of really good gift places. As people start to think about, Christmas gifts and all of that, I really hope that they would consider supporting the local businesses who can really use it this time of year. So,
Well, it's not only that, it's a heck of a lot better shop than some of these local businesses
Oh, yeah.
and these big stores. I get tired just walking across the big box stores, never mind looking at stuff, so. And there are some terrific shops in town.
There are.
There really are, some good shops, and I very much encourage it as well. My wife did some last week local too, so that's good for everybody. Any other new business, Mark? Open it up to public input. Do we have any public input this evening? Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Frank Julio, and I am the proud owner of 14 Lewis Pond Road. And I'm here to see what's being done, or what has been done, and what I can expect. I've got my house up for sale, to be honest with you. I just can't believe that this has gone on for 2 years, and I'm not blaming anybody here. I started out with the inspector, and he did nothing. I'd come in every week and ask him what was going on, and he'd say, well, we're doing this, we're doing that. And then he went to the lawyers, and this is 2.5 years. And I don't know if any of you gentlemen would like to sit in your living room and smell outhouse, look at an outhouse. It's not very pleasant. I know my house isn't a mansion, but to me it was. And I kept it like that. You go by there, it's a nice little house. I keep it that way. I still keep it that way, and I'm not living there. I'm getting married in a month.
Congratulations on that part.
Yeah, that's a good part. But it's just so.
Frank, I can tell you that it, from my perspective, this was immensely frustrating. It never should have happened. And the system, once it does happen, to undo it moves at a snail's pace. We have not dropped this. We have had our attorney work on it. We had to issue a formal cease and desist, which we did, and then there's a certain number of days that they have to contest it. We had to wait for that to pass. They didn't contest it. Now we're waiting on a court date. We have filed all of the papers to have that removed, to make the building permit null and void, because he did not comply with the agreement. He didn't comply with it.
All he does is stare me down when I go out of my house.
The thing that is very frustrating, and I'm a believer in live and let live, so long as what you're doing isn't impacting somebody else. The vast majority of people would never do what this gentleman has done, ever. Most people wouldn't live that way. For those who choose to, and who have been through the system, they simply drag their feet, and drag their feet, and drag their feet, and it's now 2.5 years later, and they're still living there.
That's right. And it's worse than it ever was.
They're still living.
He has the old tent trail that he started with in the backside of the property. Part of that is the travel trail parked this way on the street side. That's still sitting there. And he's got this piece of junk that almost fell apart. Well, it did fall apart when they put it in. And I can't imagine the state would allow this.
We've notified Child Protective Services because of the fact that there's children living in there. We've notified the fire department
Still
because
children
there's an issue with egresses being blocked over. We are doing everything that we can to correct it. But I wish I could tell you that it's going to be corrected in a month. I don't believe that. Not as long as it's taken us to. We're now waiting on a court date. We've been working on the dilapidated buildings for months, waiting on a court date. Our hands are. I mean, we've done everything that we can as far as filing those papers and filing the requirements, and now we're waiting on them. It moves ridiculously slow. Ridiculously slow. But we haven't dropped it. We understand, we empathize, but that doesn't, that doesn't do much for you.
No.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't like it. I'm not expecting you to like it. We're just doing everything we can to correct it. I don't believe he ever should have been in there to begin with.
No, we shouldn't have.
And I do believe that our previous building inspector made some mistakes. And that's all I'm gonna say about
I
that.
don't know what.
He is no longer our building inspector.
I know, but that's not helping me.
It is not, but as far as going forward, I do not think that was handled correctly. And we're trying to fix it.
But you have to consider my frustration of what's going on.
No, just consider it. I understand it completely. And I would be as frustrated, if not more than you.
I'm being nice tonight.
Yep, unless anybody's got something to add, we've done everything that we can do, we're waiting on the court to act. We have filed the papers.
The sad part about it is when you get someone that takes a position like he's taken, believe it or not, the court's on his side.
The court's on his side.
The court's on his side trying to get it in there. And then when you get it in there, you don't know what the judge is gonna say. I'm not gonna guarantee what a judge is gonna say. I mean, look at that Sweet Paws up there. We went in to take that with dogs in an absolutely filthy condition, and because they had shelter, the judge threw it out of court. You know, and we're out $30,000 for housing dogs. You know, we're appealing it, trying to go forward again, but it has been put in the hands of our attorney. The attorney has made all the legal requirements. It's waiting for a court date. I don't like it either, but I wish I could tell you something different, but I can't. Rick said it pretty well, and it's sad. It really is. I'm almost in the same situation as you right now, if you want to know the truth, and I don't like it either, but.
I feel for all the neighbors in that area. I mean, it's terrible. I drove by there 100 times. It's terrible.
Everybody agrees with me, it's terrible. That's,
But I guess what I would ask you is, do you know of anything that we can do that we're not doing? I mean, we filed the cease and desist, we waited for we had to wait for the time period, we're waiting on the court to schedule a hearing. If there's something else we can do, by all means tell us. We've done everything that we know how to
I've
do.
never run into a situation like this. I mean, that's.
Nor have we, to be honest with you.
I can see that.
The thing that was most frustrating about this, never mind what went on initially, which was wrong. We tried to mediate that by adopting his timeline, the one that he provided to us, that he had to meet he had to meet certain benchmarks in order to be able to have the building permit, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all dates provided by him, and he has not lived up to not one of them. It's immensely frustrating when you've got somebody who says they want to work with you. They ain't done nothing.
You were asking what more we could do. Reading over the RSA, situation like that, each violation can cost $250, and then a second violation on the same thing can push it to $550.
That's what we're waiting on the court hearing for, is to be able to.
Okay, the town can't levy that themselves because it's a violation of zoning laws. Why would they okay? I mean, all this time, you could have $500, $600 for 7 or 8 violations in a matter of a few months. The town owns the property anyway.
It takes a lot longer than that.
Huh?
It's a lot longer than that.
Won't take longer than that, not adding up at that amount.
Just 7 violations and
Let's certainly find out from Rick if that's something that we can begin to levy. I don't have any issue with that whatsoever.
you put a lien on the property for whatever the amount comes. It's yours, it's town. The town can sell it.
Might take 3 years, but
I would think you take a court to do it. Talk with Sager and see what we can do. I have no problem with it either, if we can do it without the court.
I'm pretty sure that's the approach that we're taking.
I think it is too, and it requires a court.
RSA says the same thing about a court order. It just says you can find the violations. And if the zoning officer has a repeat, it doubles on the same violation. It just changes on the
we'll find out then. Thank you. I don't, it may well be. If it is, well, I don't have any opposition to doing that whatsoever.
So you just let the
We'll find out.
fines add up to the point where you can lien the property for total value, because he's not gonna pay it. But you could lien the property for total value. We'll look into that angle of it. Other than that, we're waiting on the courts.
Well, is it true that he doesn't own that property?
I have no idea.
No, it is in his name.
It is in his
It
name?
is
He
in
has a
his name.
deed?
That is correct.
I heard that the previous owner was holding a mortgage on it.
Which may be possible, but he's transferred ownership by deed.
Well, I've said what I wanted to say, and I hope you will.
I really wish there was more we could do. I really do, but there is.
But we're not dropping. I mean, we're still acting on it and doing it, and we'll check on what Denny just brought up. If that's something that we can pursue, we'll pursue it.
Okay.
Again, most people don't do this. So, and I know it's something you haven't been through before, and it's, I mean, he is frustrated.
And
To
if
the nth
other
degree.
people like that.
So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public input? If not, I do have a need tonight to go into a non-public session. I have a number of issues to discuss. RSA 91A:32A personnel, RSA 91A:32C tax matter, and 91A:32D property discussion. Now, before I go though, because I know some of you are going to leave, I just want to remind you, Wednesday, the 30th, this coming Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. is a budget committee meeting at the Freight House. Tuesday, 12/6 at 5 p.m. here in the gymnasium is going to be meet and greet Recreation Director Craig Brady. And Thursday, 12/8 from 5 to 8 p.m. here in the gymnasium, New Hampshire DOT will be giving a presentation on their project, which is the work going on out on Route 16.
And I forgot to correct that time, it's supposed to be from 6 to 8.
Supposed to be 6 to 8?
Correct.
That's for DOT?
Yes.
Okay, 6 to 8 for DOT. I just wanted to get those two announcements out in case anybody chooses to leave. Therefore, I'll make a motion, we go into non-public.
yes.
Frank Riley, yes. Bob Freeman?
Yes.
Yes. We will return as soon as we can possibly return. Thank you.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And the minutes were sealed to the non-public. Any other public input? If not, I make a motion we adjourn.
Second that?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.